The next candidate to be interviewed, Your Honors, is Honorable Justice Jose C. Reyes Jr., Associate Justice of the Supreme Court.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Justice. The first one who will interview you will be Judge De Monteverde. Judge De Monteverde.
Thank you, Justice Mendoza. Good morning, Justice Reyes.
Good morning, Judge.
Sometime on August 19 this year, you were declared to be physically and medically fit.
Yes, Your
Am
Honor.
I correct?
Yes, Your Honor, by the Supreme Court Medical Director, Dr. Banzon.
But your medical record states that you have high blood chemistry, which was taken also on August 17, 2 days before the certification,
Yes, Your Honor.
especially on the SGPT, the liver, triglycerides. With this condition, how do you expect to cope with the problem, assuming that you will be appointed as Chief Justice?
Your Honor, I've been in that condition ever since. Sometimes the laboratory tests are normal. Sometimes they go up. Especially so, Your Honor, that for the past months, I've not been able to undergo my regular exercise ever since I was appointed to the court, because we don't have an exercise room, unlike in the Court of Appeals. So that may have caused the increase. And aside from the fact that the problem with dieting, Your Honor, so I believe that I will be able to cope up with work here, as I have been doing since, as I have been coping up since last year, Your Honor, when I was appointed to the Supreme Court.
Okay, thank you. You are now 69 years old, and next year you will be retiring.
Yes, Your Honor. I just turned 69 last September 18.
Now, assuming that you will be again appointed as Chief Justice, and considering your medical records insofar as blood chemistry is concerned, how will you be able to pursue with your job in so short a time?
Well, Your
Assuming
Honor,
again that you will be appointed as Chief Justice.
yes, I have my regular diet now, and taking the appropriate medicines, and then I plan to go back to my regular exercise. In fact, Your Honor, if appointed as the Chief Justice, Your Honor, I plan to put up an exercise room in the Supreme Court, just like what we have in the Court of Appeals. So perhaps by undergoing regular exercise and proper diet and whatever medicines are to be taken, Your Honor, I'll be able to cope up with the rigors of the work here, as I have been able to adjust since I was appointed to the court. And I believe, Your Honor, that a person who is nourished physically and even mentally and spiritually, Your Honor, can very well manage and cope up with work here in the court, Your Honor. We know, of course, that the work here is really enormous, but I've been able to adjust fast to the work in the court.
Okay. Now, what will be the future of the judiciary be like under your watch?
Your Honor,
Considering that you only have 1 year.
yes, Your Honor, I have actually thought of re-engineering the APJR, which was established during the time of former Chief Justice Hilario Davide. If allowed by the court and my colleagues, we can probably come up with an APJR, an action program for judicial reforms, part 2. Although I'm aware of the fact that that requires a lot of budget, Your Honor, but we can probably select some programs that were undertaken during the APJR under the stewardship of former Chief Justice Davide and former Chief Justice Artemio Panganiban, Your Honor. So there are a lot of programs that we can probably adopt, Your Honor.
Will you be introducing or initiating reforms in the judiciary? And if there will be, what reforms could this?
Certainly, Your Honor. I plan to be able to make a significant contribution in order to improve further the image of the Supreme Court and to improve further, Your Honor, the well-being of the justices, the court officials, as well as the rank and file employees in terms of healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy soul. Now, in terms of judicial reforms, let me just mention some of them, Your Honors. The perennial or the most common demand by the public, meaning the common complaint of the public, is the problem of corruption. Former Chief Justice Artemio Panganiban cited in his books 4 major problems in the judiciary. One is a limited access to justice by the poor, and then we have corruption, and then the apparent judicial incompetence, and the last one would be delay. Now, one of the things that I would like to convene, Your Honor, is the Integrity Board, Your Honor, the Judicial Integrity Board, which actually was the brainchild of my former colleague, Justice Tiham. And this was actually approved by the Supreme Court last year. I believe it was October of 2018. The Judicial Integrity Board should be convened to address complaints concerning judicial misconduct and to provide the appropriate sanctions if necessary, Your Honor. This body will be under the Supreme Court, and this will certainly address some complaints concerning judges, Your Honor. And basically it will be composed by a retired Supreme Court Justice as chair, and then as vice chair we have another Supreme Court Justice, and then 3 regular members, Your Honor. hopefully, if this body is convened and is organized, this could contribute a lot, Your Honor, to addressing the problem of corruption. And then another plan would probably be on the matter of judicial education, Your Honor, by focusing on ethical values and morals, Your Honor, with the help of PhilJA. We actually, personally, I have started to formulate a module that I could probably introduce to PhilJA, being part of PhilJA as one of the members of the core professors. Your Honor, reviewing the curriculum of PhilJA, there appears to be not much about ethical values, focusing on morals and values, Your Honor. So that is one plan that I would like to introduce in order also to address the problem of corruption. And one last thing, Your Honor, we've been talking about orientation of judges. So the justices of the Supreme Court had been talking about putting up an orientation program for the appellate justices, Your Honor, meaning new appellate justices from even the Supreme Court, then the Court of Appeals, CTA, and Sandigan. And
By the way, Justice, you spoke of a legal education. Do you have a short-term and long-term plans for this?
Yes, Your Honor, I mentioned...
Yeah, some of those.
I mentioned already the Judicial Integrity Board, which can already be convened, and then the continuing intellectual and ethical education, Your Honor. And then we have the putting up of other programs for the judges, not only spiritual, not only values formation, but even the usual orientation programs. Your Honor, I would like also to address by strengthening, Your Honor, strengthen and facilitate the expansion of our ongoing programs, Your Honor, like continuous trial. We can already immediately right now, Your Honor, include, as part of the continuous trial program, include the environmental courts. We have about 100, I believe we have about 119 envi courts designated by the Supreme Court, although there are about 19.
Do we still have the environmental courts?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought they were converted into a general court.
No, we still have, Your Honor. As a matter of fact, we've been conducting seminars all over the Philippines relative to the environmental procedure, Your Honor. So, for those areas where there are no envi courts, then we allow the courts of general jurisdiction to handle courts involving violations of environmental laws.
Okay, thank you, Justice. Let's go to another topic now. And this time, the question is sent to us, and this involves the conduct of the bar exams. It is stated here that the annual bar exams is only conducted in one venue, which is very impractical to those who are living outside Metro Manila. How can this be addressed, and is the solution you have in mind can see the light of day in the next coming year?
Actually, Your Honor, we have been discussing this for quite a long time. we discussed the feasibility of holding or convening and conducting bar exams in 3 areas: Manila, and then Cebu, and perhaps Davao. So, well, one basic consideration, Your Honor, is the budget. But we said that through the filing fees, Your Honor, we might be able to address the problem of budget for the areas Cebu and Mindanao.
So while you are amenable to this, still the budget, the financial concern is
Yes,
there.
one of the
So
main
it will take
considerations.
a lot of time first before implementing this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So do you have any programs for those who flunk the bar?
Well, reviewing, we have to address this aspect of continuous education. Maybe right now we require bar flunkers to go back to 4th year. Now, perhaps more schools can offer special courses in addition to going back or taking again the 4th year. There could be special courses, special topics that we could formulate, Your Honors.
Thank you. There are many innovations partially implemented by the Supreme Court, and one of this is the automation of the court processes. Now, what are the challenges in automating court processes, and how will the Chief Justice ensure that automation programs of the judiciary will be effective, considering possible roadblocks?
Actually, Your Honor, when I was in the Court of Appeals, we implemented the computerization of our cases, and with actually minimal budget, Your Honor, using the budget of the Court of Appeals. So I believe that with proper training of those involved, meaning the stakeholders, with sincerity on our part to really push through, because insofar as the Court of Appeals, Your Honor, we spoke to all of the justices, all of us, we all agreed to really work hard, and we got the commitment of everyone. That's the reason why the Court of Appeals now has a very little backlog, Your Honor. Now, perhaps, well, in the Court of Appeals, of course, there are 69 justices, Your Honor, but in the Supreme Court, we have 15. But I know that the justices in the court are trying, we have been trying our best, Your Honor, to really cope up by expediting the resolution of cases. And one, as a matter of fact, Your Honor, we are trying to, with respect to COA cases, Your Honor.
Justice, the red marker is on, and I'll have one question addressed to you. Under the Constitution, members of the Supreme Court shall hold office during good behavior until they reach the age of 70 years. Based on this provision, do you believe that a member of the Supreme Court may be removed from office on the ground of bad behavior?
Well, Your Honor, there is a process by which justices could be disciplined. In fact, Your Honor, the Integrity Board is one of the means by which a justice could be, even a Supreme Court justice could be disciplined, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Your Honor, Your Honor, the primary consideration, meaning the main factor that motivated me in applying for the position of Chief Justice is the opportunity, Your Honor, the opportunity to be of greater service to the Supreme Court, considering the period of time. So I believe, Your Honor, that in this short period of time, I would still be able to come up with a significant contribution. In fact, Your Honor, my first boss, meaning I worked with Chief Justice Felix Macasyar, and I was with him for the 4 months that he was Chief Justice, and I noticed that he has made a lot of contributions, especially in terms of benefits to the employees, Your Honor. So I think, independent of the fact that I have friends, I think still the main consideration is my desire, Your Honor, to help the judiciary.
Three of your colleagues in the Supreme Court, declined their nomination as Chief Justice. Is it your impression that they might have felt that they were less prepared than you are to apply for the position of Chief Justice?
Your Honor, I have no basis for making a conclusion with respect to the reasons why they declined, Your Honor, and we never actually discussed the matter. So, as a matter of fact, Your Honor, I applied on the last day, not even knowing that they have declined, Your Honor. So, I don't think that can be considered as a factor in my applying, Your Honor.
You share with me the vision of having judges who are excellent. Do you consider the grant of allowances to judges by LGU?
Honestly, Your Honor, it's not a matter of being unethical. It's improper, Your Honor. In fact, that happens to be one of my plans, Your Honor, in order to isolate judges and even justices, Your Honor, because the Court of Appeals justices in the Visayas and Mindanao are receiving allowances from the local governments. My plan or my proposal really, Your Honor, is to integrate to integrate local allowances or allowances from local governments, to integrate them and bring them to the Supreme Court, and let the Supreme Court distribute or give the allowances. But there must be we have to formulate a mechanism in order to arrive at an equitable distribution of the allowances. See, because those from cities where they give very high allowances might also complain. So to address that, Your Honor, we have to formulate an equitable manner of distributing this. In this manner, in this way, Your Honor, it will prevent the judges from being beholden to the local governments.
Considering your affiliation, other extrajudicial activities to concentrate on your work as Chief Justice?
I have managed all this time, Your Honor. I have managed to work. I have managed to keep the organizations, because being a member of this religious, if you'll notice, Your Honor, they are religious organizations. And these religious organizations, my membership there constitute a shield against corruption, shield against wrongdoings. So they've been contributory to my success, Your Honor. And yes, Your Honor.
You have to manage a judicial bureaucracy to ensure that the performance of judges are effectively monitored, and also the performance of lawyers who are under the supervision are also monitored.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Your Honor. My service as a lay minister comes only on Sundays, 1 hour, where we give communion to the parishioners. So that will not be a problem, Your Honor. In Couples for Christ, Your Honor, we have a monthly prayer meeting in the evening. So that's about twice a month in the evening, Your Honor. So we have about 2 hours. Now, with respect to the Knights of Columbus, actually, Your Honor, my being a North Deputy has ended this July, Your Honor. So there's only one work that I do with respect to the Knights of Columbus, being a member of the Board of Trustees, Your Honor, of the Knights of Columbus, which, of course, doesn't really require much of an attendance. But, Your Honor, most of my activities are done on weekends.
You are now number 10 or 11 in the seniority?
I think 9 or 10, Your Honor, because of the retirement of Justice Ardeleza. Yes, Your Honor. Perhaps, Your Honor, because, I've been with the court for about a year now, and the best attitude should be the act of humility in relation to the other justices, Your Honor. You just have to be very humble, explain to them, as a matter of fact, during our deliberations, Your Honor, we've been taught how to deal each other professionally, deal with each other respectfully, Your Honor. I have no problem with that, Your Honor. In fact, for about a year, I have maintained a good working relationship with the division members and in bank, especially so, Your Honor, that right now 5 of the new justices are my former colleagues in the Court of Appeals, Your Honor. So perhaps there will be no problem with respect to presiding or getting their cooperation, Your Honor. It's just a matter of maintaining a good working relationship, Your Honor, with utmost humility and respect. Well, I think, Your Honor, my attitude as an individual, Your Honor, I have always maintained respect, courtesy, humility in dealing with people, Your Honor, and the element of religiosity, Your Honor. Yes, hopefully, Your Honor, because we've had problems with that anywhere. But the computerization and the improvement of our system in the Supreme Court is actually in our agenda, Your Honor, and there's budget, including internet access, Your Honor, in order to help us dispose of cases expeditiously, Your Honor.
This has become a source of corruption. The BIR arbitrarily assesses taxpayers with threats of filing big cases with the CTA. So to avoid being sued before the CTA and thus having to pay huge non-refundable fees, taxpayers hope to negotiate with the BIR. If such a problem truly exists, as Chief Justice, what measures will you implement to address this problem? And corollary to that is also the claim against high fine fees. Will you be amenable to recommending to the bank moderating the
Actually, Your Honor, lately this has been the subject of discussion, Your Honor, meaning with respect to a little reduction or perhaps giving appropriate discounts, especially involve those cases involving corporate commercial courts where the filing fees are very high. What we can probably do is maybe instead of giving discounts, we can have partial partial payment of filing fees if the amount is so large. Your Honor, a couple of years ago, there was a proposal to adjust the filing fees of our courts several years ago, but I think that was deferred. But there was a plan to allow the filing of docket fees by installments. And perhaps, Your Honor, we can revive that. I can revive that particular scheme where we can allow partial or payment by installment of docket fees. And computerization, Your Honor, I think in the lower courts, payments of filing fees are done through computerization, Your Honor. I believe, Your Honor, my religious beliefs, my religiosity has helped me a lot in pursuing my career in the judiciary, Your Honor. Meaning, by religiosity, it's my love for God and my love for country. You know, as a member of the Knights of Columbus, we have always been taught about the two basic commandments, Your Honor, love of God and love of neighbor. So I have no problem with, continuing with my beliefs, my religiosity being God-fearing. In fact, Your Honor, it has helped me a lot. And I would not be here, Your Honor, if I did not believe in faith, in God, Your Honor.
In Bali, Indonesia, there is a proposed legislation to ban premarital sex. If the same law is adopted in the Philippines, as a magistrate, would you consider that constitutional or unconstitutional?
Well, Your Honor, a relationship between a man and a woman should end with marriage, Your Honor. Meaning, even as an individual, Your Honor, I would not allow a relationship that is not based on law, even moral or civil law, Your Honor, and canon law. So it may not be appropriate, Your Honor, or it may not be legal to have a relationship without the benefit of a blessing or without a benefit of compliance with the law, Your Honor.
So, in that sense, if that kind of a law is passed by Congress in the Philippines, banning premarital sex, and a petition is filed before the Supreme Court, will you vote to strike down that law as unconstitutional or constitutional?
It will be premature.
Hypothetically, just for purposes of academic discussion.
If it's really unconstitutional, meaning if it violates the law of the land, then it would certainly be unconstitutional.
Is there a provision of the Constitution you can think of that will be violated or that will protect premarital sex?
Right now, Your Honor, I have no idea if there's... But as far as the family code is concerned, Your Honor, the family code protects marriage, Your Honor, meaning as an institution.
Is premarital sex,
no,
to your recollection, between two consenting unmarried adults violative of the revised penal code or any special law for that matter?
No, I would say it's violative of moral law, Your Honor. Meaning it's law and morals. Well, if two consenting adults live together, then it may either constitute perhaps adultery or concubinage, whatever be the meaning, depending on the circumstances, Your Honor. If they are not married, then perhaps it would be.
But offhand, you cannot think of any provision of the revised penal code that punishes
premarital sex, Your Honor.
premarital sex.
No, it's simply adultery, Your Honor, and concubinage.
Both unmarried
Yes,
couples.
because that would be, well, for me, Your Honor, as a Catholic, it's immoral for two people to engage in premarital sex, Your Honor.
All right, that's the last of my question. Thank
Thank
you
you.
and good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Justice Tian. Judge Ilaw.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Justice Mendoza. Yes, good morning, Justice Joey Reyes.
Good morning,
Can
Your
I
Honor.
call you Joey?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you were awarded most active officer in college. Could you tell us about this award?
That award, Your Honor, was given when I was in the College of Art and Sciences, Your Honor. I was very active as president of the Political Science Club or Association, Your Honor. So that earned me the award as the most active officer that year, Your Honor, as president of the Political Science Club, because at that time, the Political Science Club was the right arm, meaning it was we had the student council, and the Political Science Club or association was the shall we say, the right arm of the student council, Your Honor. And I was very active then as an officer, as president of the club.
How about this one Medrano Service Award?
This is for, Your Honor, this is for 25 years of service in De La Salle as a faculty, Your Honor. I was given that award for teaching for 25 years. That's in De La Salle. In fact, Your Honor, just the other day, I received a service award for 40 years of service to the LaSallian education. So 40 years as a part-time instructor, Your Honor.
So, most outstanding part-time faculty,
In 1 year, Your Honor.
De La Salle University. And you are teaching what subjects in La Salle University?
For many years, Your Honor, I've been a member of the commercial law department, and we handle legal management students, Your Honor. So we teach the common law subjects in the undergraduate, Your Honor. We have obligations on contracts, partnership, and corporation, and then we have sales, agency, and the law on negotiable instruments, Your Honor. These are the common subjects. But in legal management, Your Honor, I taught civil procedure, civil law and procedure in the legal management, Your Honor, because legal management is a pre-law subject. So there are more law subjects in legal management than in the usual Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration. So since LaSalle offered legal management, we've been handling, me and my other colleagues there, been handling teaching the regular law subjects that are usually also offered in the College of Law, Your Honor. But of course, it's not so really, it's not very intensive, Your Honor. We just give them a little of everything.
What's next? Part-time member of the judiciary or the court? How often do you go abroad?
No, how often do I teach?
Go abroad.
Oh, when there is training of the Knights of Columbus, maybe twice a year, Your Honor, and we have the convention of the Knights of Columbus, Your Honor. And usually, my trip covers only about 7 to 8 days, Your Honor.
How-
And I usually avail of my the usual leave, or if I have my the wellness leave, Your Honor, which is 15 days, I usually utilize that, Your Honor. And the expenses that we incur in traveling, Your Honor, is paid for by the Knights of Columbus in the United States. And I want to assure Your Honor that court work is not prejudiced during my absence, Your Honor.
What is your present caseload? 976?
In the Supreme Court, Your Honor,
Yes.
I believe so, Your Honor.
How about your average monthly disposition?
On the average, Your Honor, should be about, including, because we have the full-length decisions, and we have the signed and unsigned resolutions, and then we have also minute resolutions, Your Honor. Altogether, with respect to full-length decisions, we come up with at least an average of about 15 cases. If we sum up, like if we sum up my decisions from January of this year up to August, there are times when I dispose of decisions full length, an average of 20 or even sometimes 25, Your Honor. So, but if we equalize them, Your Honor, probably it would average about, including the signed or the minute resolutions, Your Honor, maybe about 20 to 30 cases, Your Honor. This would include our resolutions of new petitions, which we act expeditiously by dismissing them or denying them.
All right, records on hand that there is the gross neglect of duty filed by Attorney Dennis C. Pangan Jr. And this was case against you. It was dismissed but reminded to meticulously supervise staff in the preparation of the decision to avoid recurrence of the same incidents in the future. Could you briefly explain this administrative case filed against you by a certain Attorney Dennis C. Pangan Jr.? This may be on the December 23, 2008. It must be a
2000.
long time ago, but it still appears on record.
It was filed against me, Your Honor.
Yes, please.
In
2008.
2008. All of, well, this must have been filed while I was in the Court of Appeals. But all of my pending cases there, Your Honor, have been dismissed.
Yeah, there's no quarrel about this. That has been dismissed. But you were reminded to meticulously supervise staff in the preparation of the decision to avoid recurrence of the same incidents in the future.
Well, Your Honor, if there was such a directive, Your Honor, I believe I have been very meticulous in supervising my staff in the Court of Appeals and, Your Honor, and even here in the Supreme Court, Your Honor. I have been meticulously supervising, especially my lawyers, in the drafting of reports, Your Honor, to avoid being sued administratively, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I cannot recall the facts of that case, Your Honor, but if there was indeed such a directive, Your Honor, I assure you that I have been very meticulous in resolving cases and seeing to it that there will be no impropriety, Your Honor.
All right, likewise, there is quite a discrepancy in your cash deposit declaration in your 2018 SALT end, 900,000. And your PDS is about 5,796,408 by almost 5 million pesos. Could you explain this discrepancy?
Well, that includes, Your Honor, my real property assets, Your Honor. The total in my SALN of 2018, that includes real property and personal properties, Your Honor. So that's the reason why it went up to 5 million, Your Honor.
All right, let's go to another point. What did you learn in law school subjects or subject that has proven to be least useful?
Well,
You've been teaching law subjects,
I've
and you've
always,
been also a law student.
my primary interest, Your Honor, was in legal ethics and judicial ethics. That was my primary concern then. I took that subject.
Legal ethics is not useful.
No, it is useful, Your Honor. I thought I didn't get it right, Your Honor. I found legal ethics very useful.
No, the question is, what are the subjects proven to be least useful?
At that time, Your Honor, we had legal accounting at that time, Your Honor. We had legal accounting of 1 unit at that time in San Beda, Your Honor, in law school. So it wasn't really so serious in the sense that the treatment of the subject was so light, Your Honor. I'm sure we all have in San Beda took up legal accounting, and then the treatment was, we meet only once a week because it's a 1 unit subject. So the treatment was very light, Your Honor. So we didn't really benefit so much from that subject, Your Honor. It's legal accounting of 1 unit, Your Honor. I don't know if it's still offered now, Your Honor, but during our time, we had 1 unit of legal accounting. As a matter of fact, I remember Professor, I forgot his name. He was the one handling legal accounting. Kyoge, Your Honor, Attorney Kyoge was the one.
Kyoge, top-up funeral parlor.
He was the one handling, although he, he's not connected with the funeral parlor, but Attorney Kyoge was a very good professor, except that he actually also handled taxation, Your Honor. But he was assigned to teach legal accounting, and he just treated it lightly because it's only 1 unit, Your Honor. So it didn't really help us so much, Your Honor.
Alright, when you become Chief Justice, you will become the leader of the entire judiciary, a co-equal branch of the government. And all employees of all courts, from the Supreme Court to the lowest court in the farthest island, will look up to you. How would you describe yourself as a boss and a leader?
Well, a compassionate one, Your Honor, and showing my love for them. In this way, Your Honor, when Justice Macasiar became Chief Justice, Your Honor, all benefits as a sign of compassion and love for the benefit for the lowly rank and file employees, not only in the court but even in the provinces. He made sure, Your Honor, that all benefits are transmitted to the local employees first before we receive our benefits, Your Honor, here in the Supreme Court. So that was how he loved so much the rank and file employees in the provinces. So I would like to emulate that and follow the same procedure by giving the benefits first to the employees in the provinces, Your Honor, showing compassion and probably a little bit of humility and addressing whatever problems they have, Your Honor.
And what excites you most about this position as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I wouldn't say excite, but I would say that it's a challenge. It's challenging, it's more challenging to me to lead. As much as I had a chance to lead organizations like the Knights of Columbus, where before I had the opportunity to lead 122,000 members in the Luzon North, Your Honor. I have managed to be humble, I've managed to be compassionate, I managed to motivate, you know. So I think it's, aside from compassion, perhaps, Your Honor, I would be motivational, meaning I can go to the provinces and motivate the working men and women in the provinces, in the different courts, motivate them to work seriously, work compassionately, Your Honor, loving their jobs. So part of my task probably, Your Honor, is to motivate. After all, a leader should learn how to motivate his followers or his employees, Your Honor. So that is one thing that I would probably do if selected as, if nominated and if appointed later on as Chief Justice, Your Honor.
All right, my last question will be, if you were a car, what type would you be? Are you fond of cars?
You mean a fancy car or a useful car?
Whatever car.
Not necessarily the brand, Your Honor.
The brand.
I would probably be using a Toyota Vios, Your Honor.
No, the question is what type would you be?
What type?
Not using it.
What type would it be not using it, Your Honor?
If you were a car, so what type would you be?
A sedan?
Why?
Because it's small and I can move easily, Your Honor, because it's a small car.
Small car.
Yes, a sedan, Your Honor.
And what's your height?
5'10" and a half, Your Honor.
All right.
Because I have tried Vios, Your Honor, I can easily move, meaning move it back, and I could easily fit in.
So, way back in school, you had driven Volkswagen.
No, Your Honor. The only I only started to drive in 1980, 1983, Your Honor. I was no longer in law school. The best that I could use then was a jeepney, Your Honor, in Sampaloc. So I didn't have a car at that time. But my first car was a Mitsubishi Mirage, Your Honor, which is a small car. And I used it for many years, despite my height, Your Honor. Very
Alright.
comfortable.
Okay, thank you. That was my last and final question. Thank you and good luck, Justice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Judge Silao. Justice Reyes, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I have read few of your ponentias now. In what case did you demonstrate your judicial philosophy? What is your justification for your judicial philosophy?
Well, basically, Your Honor, my judicial philosophy is to adhere at all times to the rule of law. To the rule of law and the Constitution, Your Honor. And I have actually demonstrated this, Your Honor, in one new case that the court has decided, Your Honor. Although this is the case of Philsat, Your Honor. I'm sure a lot of us are aware of the Philippine law school admission test, Your Honor. So, in deciding that case, I was guided no less than by the Constitution, because the issue of the constitutionality of Philsat was raised, Your Honor. So, we managed to declare portions of the law unconstitutional, Your Honor. But the Philsat remains and continues with provisions wrong, or shall we say, we deleted provisions that are unconstitutional, but we proceeded with the remainder of the law, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I can discuss further if you would like, Your Honor, although this case has not really been officially released, because although it was approved September 10, the other members of the court have not really signed, although we have already resolved that, Your Honor.
You have been in the Supreme Court for more than a year, or have you suggested reforms in the Supreme Court or judiciary? Were they adopted, if any?
Not yet, Your Honor.
You have suggested any reform in the rules?
In the rules, Your
Yes.
Honor. We, insofar as the rules on environmental procedure, Your Honor, there is one aspect there on Rule 20 which deals, there's one part which deals with the so-called precautionary principle, Your Honor, in the rules of procedure for environmental cases. There had been a lot of cases resolved, but not strictly applying, not applying the precautionary principle, Your Honor, which is being treated in that rule as a new type of evidence, Your Honor. So we would I would like to propose that the precautionary principle should be, should be implemented, Your Honor.
Should you be appointed the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, what reforms would you introduce in the JBC? Because you will be automatically chairman of the JBC.
One, Your Honor, is the reduction of the vacancy rate as of August 30, 2019, the vacancy rate has gone up to 30%. So perhaps the JBC can be probably prompted to be more aggressive in addressing the timely appointment of the bright and the brightest, Your Honor. So filling up the vacancy, Your Honor, and we hope to be able to use this to address the problem of delay in the dispensation of justice, because the more we fill up more courts, the lesser would be the backlog, Your Honor. I know that the JBC has been doing its best to fill up vacancies, but also, Your Honor, we have to consider the fact that a lot of judges have been retiring, and so even if the JBC is aggressive in filling up vacancies, the problem is more and more judges are retiring. So I don't know if we can still be more active in really. Oh, Your Honor, one solution would be Justice Panganiban, during his time, suggested a special school for lawyers, who will aspire to become career judges. This is a school that would probably be under PhilJA, Your Honor.
This is different from prejudicature program of the PhilJA? Is this different?
Yes, Your Honor. Prejud is only offered for 10 days, Your Honor. But this one is similar to what we have in DFA. It's similar to the Foreign Service Institute, where actually, Your Honor, I was starting to develop a curriculum for this special program, a curriculum for young lawyers who may want to become career judges. So it could be a one-year course for young aspiring lawyers, and then they will be trained in law as well as trained in morals and ethics, Your Honor. So probably that will help us in searching for more judges, hiring and appointing them, Your Honor.
So what rule would you want in the JBC? What rule do you want to tweak or amend to improve the organization? JBC.
Meaning, if
What you want to amend? What provisions in the rules of the JBC
okay.
do you want to amend or reform for the improvement of the service?
Well, right now, really, Your Honor, honestly, I see that there is enough. Meaning, we have a good set of rules in the JBC, Your Honor. The only problem really is just, appointing, processing, and searching, and then processing of applications, Your Honor. We cannot enlarge the membership, Your Honor. I think we have enough members to evaluate, Your Honor. So that's the reason why, Your Honor, I wanted to introduce a separate, meaning a school for judges. It might contribute to the speedy processing of or appointment of future judges, Your Honor.
If appointed, appointed as Chief Justice, would you be in favor of monitoring the mental health of the appointees?
Of the candidates, Your Honor.
Yes, appointees already appointed.
Yes, certainly, Your Honor. It is best that we continue monitoring not only the physical health, but even the mental health of employees, Your Honor. Especially so now that we have a health card for the Supreme Court employees, and I would like to propose that this HMO, because I am now the chair of the Committee on Health and Welfare in the Court, Your Honor. When I was chair of the Health Committee, Health and Welfare in the Supreme Court, we covered everybody, Your Honor. All the judges, all the justices, right? So, similarly, Your Honor, we can try to give health cards or HMO to all employees, meaning up to the lower courts. And this would give the HMO the opportunity to examine the employees, Your Honor. And the employees can similarly present themselves to undergo medical, physical, and mental health examinations. In fact, Your Honor, in the Court of Appeals, I have introduced that as one of the items to be covered by the HMO in the Court of Appeals, meaning conducting psychological tests to all the employees, Your Honor. Psychological, as in addition to the physical aspect, Your Honor. So I think we can do that also in the Supreme Court, Your Honor.
When I was in the Supreme Court, we also covered lower court employees, but they had problems. There were so many few hospitals accredited. How would you address that so that they will be enticed to be covered again by the health provider?
Yeah, I have spoken to the management of the health card right now, the health card that we have right now in the Supreme Court, Your Honor, and they said that they can handle the number of employees that we have, numbering about 20,000 or so employees in the lower courts, Your Honor.
They can handle, but I mean to say, the institutions, accredited institutions, were very few then. They were complaining that they had to go to faraway
Yes.
areas to be
treated.
Yes, to be treated and examined like that.
Now, this present net HMO that we have, Your Honor, according to them, they can very well, because they can very well handle the needs of our lower court employees, because they have several accredited doctors and hospitals all over the Philippines, Your Honor. So hopefully, Your Honor, we can address the problems of our lower court employees with this new HMO, Your Honor. Of course, there is no assurance that with my personal monitoring efforts, Your Honor, we might just be able, we can test them for this year, Your Honor, then perhaps next year. It depends on the evaluation that we will have. We might be able to offer this to the lower court employees with much success, Your Honor.
Our time is up. I will give you this opportunity to say what you want to say pursuant to your aspiration as a Chief Justice.
Your Honor, I would just want to be remembered as sometimes they refer to me as an academic justice, Your Honor. Academic justice. PhilJA people had been calling me not a bishop. When I was in the Court of Appeals, they called me bishop fondly because of my participation in religious activities, Your Honor. But knowing, being an academic justice now, Your Honor, I am passionate about continuing with our judicial education, but focusing on ethics, Your Honor. I would love to see ethical judges as much as we want to have unethical lawyers, Your Honor. And hopefully, Your Honor, hopefully we can have a judiciary that is, again, independent, efficient and effective, and we have a legal profession that is ethical, Your Honor. We have a legal profession composed of ethical lawyers, Your Honor. So that is just my parting words, Your Honor. Hopefully, being a professor of 40 years, I might just be able to contribute something towards judicial training or intellectual training of judges, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Justice Reyes. You are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Justice Reyes. We wish you the best of luck.